The clouds have parted above MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey, as the New York Red Bulls 2 host Chicago Fire 2 in match week 21. Welcome in, I'm Josh Toll. New York Red Bulls 5th in the league in goals scored with 39 on the year. 3 different goal scorers with 5 or more goals for the Red Bulls. Their biggest issue is they've allowed 42 goals on the season. Chicago Fire, meanwhile, 6th best scoring team in the league. And they have the top scorer in David Pareba up front. You also add in Harold Osorio, who has 9 goals on the season for Chicago Fire 2. These two teams met earlier in the season with a draw taking place going to a shootout. 10 goals in total were scored in the first meeting. We could have another high-scoring game tonight. Eastern Conference standings, Chicago Fire 4th in the standings. A win will put them level with Philadelphia Union, who sits 2nd in the table. New York Red Bulls just out of the playoffs in the 9th spot. A win for them would leapfrog above Crown Legacy into the 7th position. A draw would also put them in the playoff race moving forward. New York Red Bulls will be in a 4-4-2 under Ibrahim Sakaya. Tanner Rossborough up front. He has been on absolute fire. 4 straight games with a goal for the 16-year-old. He has scored in 4 in a row dating back to June 30th. To his left will be Julian Hall, the other 16-year-old who has 3 goals and 4 assists on the season. They are a potent attack up front, and they will be difference makers going at the back line of Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire 2, Ludovic Taliander will have his club in a 4-2-3-1. Back are 2 players that were with the first team for the League's Cup in Christian Kofi and Omari Glasgow. Kofi coming on as a sub in both games against Tuloco as well as Sporting Kansas City. Omari Glasgow also playing against Sporting Kansas City. Glasgow with 3 goals and 2 assists on the season for Chicago Fire. Our officials tonight, Gerald Flores will be the main man in the middle. Assistant referee will be Nicholas Seymour. Second assistant, Jennifer Dumaine. Our 4th official is Justin Lopez. New York Red Bulls tonight in the all-red kits with the white numbers. Chicago Fire 2 in the white kits with the light blue shorts. And we are underway in the 2nd meeting of the season between these two teams. And you go back to the first one, Roll Mitchell with 4 goals in the first half. Harold Osorio with a hat trick in the second half, fastest hat trick in club history, as this is played back by Copeland Berkeley. Talking with Ludo Taliander, the head coach of Chicago Fire 2, talked about this Red Bulls side being unpredictable. They have a strong mentality. They are a team that plays together. If we play our way, we should have opportunities to score goals. They need to create chances and need to defend better. And right now, having to defend early in the attacking third is New York. Berkeley will play it over. Serwada will give it up. Play it on to Sofo. And now, you look at this Chicago Fire side. Chicago last week fielding their youngest club ever in team history. They had a total of 6 players from the academy in the starting 11. 5 players making their debut. 11 players in total were academy member players in last week's loss to FC Cincinnati. This is the 2nd game of a 5-game road trip for Chicago. Foul here against New York will set up a free kick early for Chicago. David Pareba wearing the captain's armband for the Fire. On the other side, it is Aiden O'Connor for the Red Bulls. Glasgow in the channel. Slows it up at the moment, gives it over, wanted to find Kristen Kofi on his pass attempt. Flying up the field is Sofo. He'll play it out wide to Tanner Rossborough. Has Hall to his left. Rossborough looks to take this himself. Rossborough on the end line, cuts it across, and goal kick here for Chicago. Tanner Rossborough, 16 years old, 4 games he has scored in a row for New York. His lone assist of the season coming against Atlanta. Well, the youngest clubs to appear in club history Go back for Tanner Rossborough, scoring a tournament-winning goal in the U15's 2-1 win over CF Montreal in last year's U15 MLS Next Cup final. Patrick Lowe's getting the start once again for Chicago Fire. His 13th start of the season, does have 3 clean sheets on the year. On the other side, it's Aiden Stokes, the 60-year-old, getting his 13th start as well. He's allowed 28 goals as he'll usher this out of play. Tough game on the road last week for Chicago Fire, falling 5-0. Meanwhile, New York Red Bulls also on the road. They fell against Toronto 4-3. They trailed Toronto 3-0 heading into the 85th minute. Red Bulls would score 2 goals after the 85th minute to get back into the game, but it would not be enough as Toronto would pull back ahead and get the lead ultimately 4-3. Gutierrez with a goal in last week's game, as well as Rossborough and Sullivan. Berkeley plays this forward, and it's sent away by Chicago. One right back by the Red Bulls. Both teams giving the ball back to one another at the moment. New York, they will be more aggressive of the two. They'll try to spring more counters, go over the top a little bit more and more direct. Chicago, meanwhile, will tend to have a little bit more possession. Chicago Fire, like I said, numerous players away, either injured or with the first team. Here's one of those players that was with the first team in Kofi. Nice slip ball. Cross is going to be sent away by Mehmeti. But you look at the players like Kofi, Omari Glasgow, getting some time with the first team, as well as Javier Casas. They love that those players are getting the opportunity, but they also love the fact that the academy players were able to move up and get opportunities as well. And the 5 make their pro debuts. Italianer talking about how it's important that they get those debuts and those moments. Keep bringing competition to the team. Thought the game was tough and physical, but a lot of positivity to take away from the game and lessons learned. Hall surveys. Hall has a little room to work with. Loses possession. Sofo. Berkeley, great first touch to bring it down by coming back defensively was Kofi. Kofi, 23 years old, out of Paris, France, dual citizen of Ivory Coast and France. He's also played in Italy as well as Spain. Whistle against Chicago Fire, and this ball will come past midfield now. Gutierrez with 3 goals on the season after scoring last week in the loss against Toronto. He's always a big piece on set pieces in the area. Hall with back heel, Berkeley. Headed away. Christopher Cups, the man heading that out for Chicago. Cups, another young teenager on the Chicago Fire side, 16 years old. They had 8 players under the age of 18 last week, getting the start against FC Cincinnati. Meanwhile, for the Red Bulls this season, 8 debuts this season for the second team from academy players. the different styles, the way clubs like to build their squad, and whether it's through the academy, add in draft prospects as well. You can look at Aiden O'Connor, the 12th overall pick this year out of Virginia for New York Red Bulls, as one of the examples of a college player coming in, finding success here in MLS Next Pro. Sofo, want to slip it through to Julian Hall, but Hall unable to split through the defenders. Kofi looking to find Glasgow as he gets behind Berkeley. Cuts it across, but no one there for Chicago. Here's player was Holliet. Holliet getting his 4th start of the season. Here's Holliet, loses possession. Ameti loses it to Pareba. Pareba will play it out wide. The shot's going to be easily scooped up by Aiden Stokes. Giovanni Granda with the angle, but nothing behind that to challenge Aiden Stokes. Played direct for Hall. Hall in the channel, has Rossborough coming up as well as Ibrahim Kasule. Sofo on the far side, Hall to cross, hits it into Rossborough, out into the stands. And we'll have our first corner of the game going to the New York Red Bulls. Good attack here by Hall, gets the ball in. And coming back defensively was Christopher Cups, the center back. Corner now for Mohamed Sofo. 87th corner on the season. Sofo will set up an inward swinging ball. Does have 5 assists on the year, which is tied 4th best in the league. Look out for Gutierrez there in the center, as well as O'Connor, the big targets. Sofo plays it in near post. Gutierrez wide. Gutierrez comes up limp as well. Great ball in here by Sofo. Gutierrez doing a good job getting around the defenders. Nearly got in on the near post. Gutierrez able to get up under his own power. Red Bulls has struggled at home on the season, just 2 wins at home on the year. Their last win coming against Atlanta United here at MSU Soccer Park. Chicago Fire, meanwhile, 2 wins on the road this season. Sofo in the circle. Nice dummy ball there by Rossborough, but not getting fooled by it was Javier Casas. Casas, 21 years old, saw time with U16 and U17s of the U.S. Youth National Team. This will come back for a kick for Chicago. Glasgow gets it on the return. Cups retreating, Rossborough putting pressure. This is what New York is so good at, with a high press and being pests on the defenders as they try to track down the ball. Valencia to play this in. Valencia getting his 13th start of the season. 20 years old out of Panama. First active MLS Next Pro player to play in Copa America for Panama. Subbed on in the loss against Colombia. How about the Olympics right now going on? Jay Herman of Vancouver Whitecaps too, becoming the first active MLS Next Pro player to play and start in a match in the Olympics, doing so for New Zealand. Sofo Sofo attacking the area, a little step over to his left foot, stopped by Patrick Los. See a couple shots on target for both sides, but right at the keeper. This time by Sofo for the Red Bulls, but earns his squad a corner. Sofo taking this himself, goes right near the 6, gets a left-footed shot off, but right at Los. Last corner down, Gutierrez, who's at the top of the screen, was able to go around a screen and get a good shot attempt, but sent it just wide of the frame. Same play, same target in Gutierrez. Kofi, right up the gut. Juliet, bring it to the center. Good job coming back from behind by Berkeley. That's also a great job there by Aidan O'Connor, forcing Juliet to go inside to allow his defenders to get back and help defensively. Pareba will play back to midfield. Pareba on the season with 12 goals. Last year he was with Crown Legacy, had 6 goals and 5 assists. Pareba will go out wide. Glasgow making his 15th start of the season. Over to Kofi. Kofi trying to get it back to Glasgow as it hits off Copeland Berkeley. Nagel out wide. Granda works his way inside. Finds Nagel once again, but Tanner Rossborough back to help defensively. Kofi will give it up. Pareba from distance, and it sneaks through for the opening goal. David Pareba makes it 1-0 Chicago. 13th goal of the season for the captain. Pareba showing that he can do it from inside the box as well as outside on this long distance rocket. Just goes right into the path of his run, gets it to a stronger foot and sneaks it by Aiden Stokes. Stokes had the post well covered, but Pareba with enough pace behind the shot to get the opening goal of the game. Last time these two sides met, it was a quick 2 goals by the Red Bulls to get the lead. And here in the second meeting, it's a goal in the 15th minute by David Pareba. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Srawada goes inside. Off the foot of Berkeley, just took his eye off the ball. Pareba, the league's leading scorer on the season, now with 13 goals. Also look at Harold Osorio, third in the league with 9 goals on the season for this Fireside. Will Mitchell earlier this season was leading the way for New York, but he's out with an injury. It was the first meeting between these two sides. He had 4 goals in the opening half of play. David Pareba coming along from Polish club. Stal Milic, last year with Crown Legacy. Grew up actually in the Chicago Academy. 21 years old now, Chicago, Illinois. Nagel will play forward into the circle. Sudan beat to the ball by Aiden O'Connor. Then Sudan commits the foul on Omar Valencia. Valencia plays the ball up to Ibrahim Kasule. Kasule last year, best 11, scoring 15 goals, also had 5 assists for the Red Bulls. Kasule last year scored in 7 straight games. Currently, Tanner Rossborough has scored in 4 straight. See a striker like that, once they get going, they find that rhythm. It just goes over week in and week out, and just confidence keeps building. Slower start the season for Kasule. Has 5 goals on the season. Paul and Tanner Rossborough not on the same page that time. Poor touch, and you can see the frustration of Glasgow. Sawada. Glasgow able to win the ball back. And then a foul here against New York. It's going to go against Sawada. We have yet to have a booking in this game. Relatively clean game between both sides at the moment. Here's the foul by Sawada and kicks the kneecap of Glasgow. Cups, diagonal ball. And a hard foul now from behind by Kasule as he pleads his case. Good job by Gerald Flores in the middle. In the right position to make both these calls. Glasgow to Kofi. Kofi has a little room to work with. Played it behind his intended target in Granda. Own goal by David Pareba in the 16th minute, officially assisted by Christian Kofi. Kofi with his 2nd assist of the year now. Pareba with a push from behind against Valencia as he plays quickly to start. Hall stays on his feet. Rebels side have allowed the most goals on the season with 43 on the year. Chicago, they have issues defensively as well. They've allowed the 8th most goals on the season with 35. Rebels still trying to break down this back line of Chicago. Sofo nearly did right there with his speed. Able to get back though defensively to help as the defensive midfielder and Chase Nagel. Sofo tapped out on corner once again for the Red Bulls. Third corner of the game for New York. Just a couple weeks ago, they had 10 corners against Atlanta. Sofo now will set up an outward swinging ball. Kasule over near him for a short corner if they choose. They'll go short. Sofo. Berkeley back to Sofo. Into the mixer. Looping ball up and on top of the netting. Has made one save so far in this game. 47 saves now on the year for the young keeper. Ball played down the line. Numbers forward for Chicago. Granda into the middle of the park. Kofi. Glasgow. Kofi will survey, and he'll like to go backwards and reset. I will try to work the other side of the field now, see if they can find any open space. Kasule intercepts the ball. Sofo. Nagel into the circle, over to Kofi. Good stab away there by Sirwada. Now to Tanner Rossborough. Rossborough with a shot, make it 5 in a row! 5 straight games with a goal for Tanner Rossborough. He is on fire, leveled up in the 25th minute. New York 1, Chicago 1. You have the poor giveaway by Kofi, and nice ball out to Rossborough. Goes far side. Nothing Patrick Lowe's could do to stop that rocket by Rossborough. Five straight games now with a goal for Tanner Rossborough. Ibrahim Kasule last year scored in 7 straight for the Red Bulls. And that's what New York does so well. They force you to make the mistake in your own end, and then they just capitalize, like Tanner Rossborough and company did just right there, and all started from just a little soft poke defensively by Steven Sirwada to win the ball back for the Red Bulls. This portion of the match is brought to you by your Tri-State Audi dealers. Played up the gut for Kofi, back is Berkeley. Ball's played just a little bit further inside, about a yard, maybe 2 to the right. Kofi's gonna get that in stride. Well, yet knocked off the ball by O'Connor, and a corner for Chicago. St. Peter Sudan over to the far corner. Second corner of the game for Chicago. 86th corner of the season for Chicago Fire. Sudan plays it in near post. Ball heads it away. Valencia. Gutierrez plays it high into the air. Glasgow. David Pareba with the lone goal for Chicago coming in the 16th minute. Tanner Rossborough responding for the Red Bulls in the 25th minute, assisted by Sofo. This ball played to Sofo. Looking to add to the goal total, takes a deflection right into the hands of Los. Hit off Christopher Cups. Bryce Richards getting his second straight start. Him and Charlie Norcat making their debuts last week for Chicago Fire, getting starts. They're talking about the starts for these young players and just the debuts in general, but it's always great to give opportunities to young kids and see these first moments of their success. Really thrilled that they took advantage of the moments that they had last week. One-two action, the cross, sent away by Gutierrez. They're going to say offside here on this pass. One-two action, Glasgow gets it back. It was tight. Sofo now with 6 assists on the year as he keeps moving up. Now tied for third in the league. Kasule long range, deflected. Los will let it one hop into his outstretched arms. Both teams not afraid to fire away from beyond the 18-yard box. Nagel just at halfway line. It's on the return pass. Sudan will play it over. Kofi. Kofi, a little drag and go. Last touch by Berkeley. Another corner here for Chicago Fire. Hesitation there by Kofi, able to catch the back line off guard. The delivery swiped away. Sent back into the mixer. Hard foul, and this is going to go to the penalty spot. Foul in the box against Mohamed Sofo. The Chicago Fire will now have an opportunity from the spot. You see Sofo just out of control with his body. Goes right into Bryce Richards. Patrick Los and New York Red Bulls 0 for 4 in PK saves on the year. Meanwhile, Chicago 10 of 12 on the year from the spot. David Pareba 4 of 5 from the spot, and he'll take this. The captain, Pareba, slots it through for the second goal. Pareba now with a brace. 2-1, visitors on top in the 32nd minute. Confidence here by Pareba as he slots it by with ease. Pareba now 5 of 6 from the spot. It's been Pareba and Harold Osorio with every penalty kick from the spot this year for the Fire. 14 goals now in the season for David Pareba. Wasn't a question on the field who was going to take that from the spot for Chicago. Last time these two teams met, well, we had 10 goals in total. We could just be right on that trend here once again. Berkeley on the end line, and he'll run out of room. Serrata. Kasule drops it over for Sova on the turn. Drops it back. Coming up late was Serrata once again as the ball's won back by Mehmeti. Ball pinballing around. Neither team can gain possession at the moment. Foul here against New York as Kofi goes down to the surface. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hospital for Special Surgery. Los under some pressure. New York looking to be aggressive defensively here in the 35th minute, trying to force a turnover, and they do. A chance here for Hall. Hall with a shot, and he's found an equalizer. Julian Hall with his 4th goal of the season. This is what New York does so well. They high press, they force the turnover, ball comes right into the path of Hall. He turns and rockets a shot right by Patrick Los. Julian Hall and Tanner Rossborough, the two 16-year-old attackers, both with goals here tonight. Let's go back for Hall scoring with the first team as a sub against Montreal. Came on in less than a minute, scores. Youngest score at 16 years and 87 days. Of course, Freddie Adu, the youngest at 14 years, 320 days old. Granda. Hoyet loses possession, but gained back by Pareba. Played out wide. Service into the area. Should be last touch by Glasgow, and it is. Other action around MLS Next Pro. How about FC Cincinnati, Team of the Week in Week 20. Now at the top of the table, got a 1-0 win over Philadelphia Union 2 to leapfrog the Union. Ben Stitz with the lone goal. He now has 6 on the season. Philadelphia will be playing this Chicago Fire team next. Hall for Sofo. Sofo, sharp angle.
Be ready. Copeland, be ready here. It's okay.
Fifth corner now here in the first half for the Red Bulls. Sofo will set up. Last time they went short. Back post ball, headed up by Gutierrez and over. Two times now, Sofo is connected with Gutierrez on corners. Both times Gutierrez has been close. Gutierrez scored the opening goal in the loss against Toronto for the Red Bulls. Granda. Glasgow will play back to midfield. Chicago will reset once again. New York, what they like to do when Chicago's closer to midfield, they'll drop off defensively, but when they're further back in the defensive third, that's when New York will attack defensively, try to put the press on. Long distance shot from Joliet, easily scooped. Joliet trying to copy what David Pareba did on the opening goal for Chicago Fire. Pareba with both goals for the Fire, one coming in the run of the play, the other one coming from the spot. Julian Hall and Tanner Rossborough with the goals for New York. Dream Abedi credited with the assist on the Hall goal. Highlights and stats for you at the break from this one. Also look back the MLS Invitational between Austin FC, the defending champs from last year, as well as Cancun football. Olympics still going on. Mentioned Jay Herman of Vancouver Whitecaps becoming the first active MLS Next player to play and start an Olympic match. Xavier Valdez, goalkeeper for Dynamo Dos, starting for the Dominican Republic. And of course, USA had plenty of players that were formerly in MLS Next Pro, including the likes of Benjamin Kamaski of Inter Miami, Patrick Schulte, the first ever goalkeeper of the year in the MLS Next Pro with Columbus Crew 2, Jack McGlynn, Nathan Harrell, and Paxton Aronson, all with Philadelphia Union. Joliet offside. Leagues Cup action going on between Liga MX as well as MLS. Chicago's first team from the Liga MX Toluca on Thursday night in the League Cup. How about Paul Rothrock for Seattle Sounders, scoring the second goal in the 2-0 win over Minnesota United last week. Kofi getting some time as a sub for Chicago. Omar Glasgow also coming on as a sub against Sporting Kansas City. Berkeley will play back. Gutierrez over to the captain, O'Connor. Good center pairing between those two for the Red Bulls. Also dangerous on set pieces. Just have to be aware they are in the box at all times, whether it's on a corner or from the middle of the field. Handball will be called against Chicago Fire's Giovanni Granata, the 17-year-old. Granata making his second start of the season. His first year with the club. Mention all the youngsters on this team. The teenagers made their debut last week. Tony Marquette, one of those players, getting a start last week. Kasule, Sofo, Srawada, Berkeley, Van Srawada, Hall, shot from distance, hits off the backside of Hall, the follow-up. Rossborough on the turn. It's by one defender. Rossborough loses possession as there's a fight for the ball. Patrick Lowe's trying to scoop it up as Rossborough falls on top of the keeper. Good battle between Cups and Rossborough. Lowe's having to come over and claim the ball for Chicago, as we'll have 2 minutes of stoppage time added on to the first half of play. This is going to be against Chicago for a push from behind by Joliet. Kasule now pushing up the field for the Red Bulls. Hall. Valencia on the overlap. Cuts it back across. Sent away by Nagel. Now cleared off the back line, but right to Kasule. Kasule drops it back. Nagel trying to turn away from Srawada. Glasgow over the top, looking for Joliet. Back is Gutierrez as well as O'Connor. O'Connor over the top for Rossborough. Headed away by Los before Rossborough could get to the ball. Collision between Glasgow and Sofo. And Sofo will have a yellow card. Sofo was the man that committed the foul in the box earlier in this half. Didn't get a booking then, does get a booking now. Clear foul by Sofo. And there is the whistle, close out the first half. First 45 minutes did not disappoint. The captain for Chicago, David Pareba, getting 2 goals, one from the spot, 1 from long range. Rossborough in the 25th minute would have the first goal for the Red Bulls, and then Hall would respond. 10 minutes later, our score in the half is New York 2, Chicago Fire 2. Coming up, we revisit the MLS Invitational from Texas, and later we get to know the North Texas goalkeeper, all coming up after this short break.
Messi! La pelota para que quede. It's contact and a shot goal. Mamita querida, qué golazo! Magnifique flap. Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Para Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Fuerza. Al frente. Servicio. El tiro. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área le pega, golazo. Amor al gol. Parte externa va a definir Chicho.
Toda mi gente lo siente, 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 toda mi gente caliente, toda mi gente lo siente.
At the half, New York Red Bulls 2, Chicago Fire 2. Austin hosted FC Cancun in this year's edition of the MLS Invitational. Samar Perez was there and has this report.
For the third consecutive year, the MLS Next Pro Invitational pitted foreign opposition against MLS Next Pro sides. And for the first time ever, a Mexican club. Also another first, there was a championship trophy on the line. Ahead of the match, we spoke to Senior Vice President of Operations and Competitions, Ali Curtis, who spoke on the significance of the match.
Anytime, you're going to be playing for a trophy, the game's going to be super competitive, which is a great opportunity for players to learn and develop. And then also, this is something that the players have been looking forward to for a long time now, ever since they won their championships in their domestic league. So they don't know each other as well, so that diversity in opponent will be difficult for each side. Should be a very competitive game, and, coaches and players should have a lot of fun.
And competitive it was, as both teams came out strong and were physically challenging each ball. But it was Austin FC 2 who would strike first. Off a set piece, Micah Burden gave the home team the lead off a diving header. The teams would go into the locker rooms with Austin leading 1-0. In the second half, things continued to heat up as Cancun FC tried to level it. But off a corner kick, Alonso Ramirez put Verdos ahead with a spectacular half volley goal at the 58th minute. The Mexican side made things interesting in the 67th minute as Mauro Perez found himself inside the box to score and put the visitors within one. In the last 30 minutes of the match, both teams created opportunities, but in the end, Austin FC2 would hold on to the lead, delighting their fans to another championship. After the match, we spoke to head coach Brett Utley, who highlighted the level of competition of the intense match.
They had a lot of mobility in the midfield. They made it extremely difficult for us to press. They were aggressive in their pressing as well, so we had to be really quick with our decision making to find the free player to try to push them back and play our game. And it was really like that from the first minute all the way to the end.
Michael Burden was named MVP, and he hopes that this brings him the confidence he's been looking for this season.
It's been a tough season for me, and so I'm just very hungry to score. I saw the ball go in the back post. CJ hits it across, and then I just tap it in, and you know it's a good goal, good feeling, and I honestly just miss that feeling.
Austin FC2 once again victorious in another championship, this time in the 2024 MLS Next Pro Invitational against Liga Expansión MX side Cancun FC. That does it from Palmer Field at St. David's Performance Center. I'm Samara Perez, signing off.
2-2 at the break here between New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire. Look back at Friday's schedule. FC Cincinnati with the win on the road against Philadelphia Union. They are now in the top spot in the Eastern Conference. NYCFC falling to Columbus Crew. That stops their 10-match unbeaten streak. Columbus Crew with a win also on the road. The Battle of Texas saw Austin FC win in a shootout to get the extra point. Meanwhile, on Saturday, Chattanooga FC over Toronto in a shootout. Atlanta United at home getting the 3-2 win over New England Revolution. Dynamo Dos saw their 3-game winning streak come to a win on the road against Colorado Rapids, falling 2-1. Still plenty of time here between these two sides as both teams are in the locker room regrouping with what we saw in a great first half that saw 4 goals between the Chicago Fire and New York Red Bulls.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. It's not like this. Cream on cream, the fit is cold. Ice cream. You like that?
Messi! Manda la pelota para que llegue. It's contact and a shot. ¡Mamita querida, qué golazo! Papite, magnifique frappe. Really, really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Huerta al frente. Servicio. El tiro. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área le pega, golazo. Acaba de pulsar, amor el gol. Parte externa, va a definir Chicho.
Michelle Montaigne recently sat down with North Texas goalkeeper Michael Collodi. Let's find out more about his journey.
From the Lone Star State with North Texas SC's keeper Michael Collodi. Michael, thank you for making time for us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
In the midst of your reigning Goalkeeper of the Month performance, you have had excellent run of form to open this season. What has led you to be so successful in your first year with the club?
I think a big part of it is credit to the rest of the team, of course. I mean, there's 10 guys in front of me, and like John has always said, our first defender starts with the guys up top. So I think it's a big kind of team effort, and I think just coming in and doing the best I can, just as everybody, and trying to do my job as best as possible.
Obviously, getting some help from your defenders is a huge part of it, but also getting the recognition of Goalkeeper of the Month by the league. What did that honor mean to you?
It meant a lot for sure. Just I think it was, like I said, just a testament not only to me, but kind of the defense and the team in entirety, because I'm not doing all the work by myself.
When you think about where this team has kind of come from, all the changes and the different things you guys have had to go through, having this run of form as of late, where do you think all of it has come from?
I think a lot of it just comes from kind of the guys that we have, and we talk a lot about wanting to be and act and play like a championship team, and what good teams do and what winning teams do is find ways to adapt, and they find ways to win. Kind of no matter the situation, what happens. We've had games where guys have gotten sent off, myself included, and we've found ways to pull stuff out. So I think that's kind of a testament to the work ethic and perseverance and kind of mentality that we have here at the club.
I have to ask about that in particular. The fact, not that you were sent off, but the fact that your guys were still able to allow no goals. What did that feel like, watching your team be able to produce that?
It was awesome. Obviously, I was a little bit disappointed not being able to do it, but I was watching in the locker room and going crazy and cheering like crazy with every goal scored, every action that happened. So it was just super proud to see the guys be able to help pull stuff off when I kind of put us in a tricky situation.
All right, that's a lot of good praise for the team, right? As a good keeper would do. But I want to talk a little bit more about you specifically.
Okay.
Comes back home to the North Texas area from Columbia University. First of all, do you think you're the smartest keeper in the league?
I have people who would hardly disagree with that. Big disagreements. I don't.
All right.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the best way to describe me.
Whatever. He has an Ivy League degree, so we'll just give that what it's worth. But seriously, I mean, coming up through the academy here and now getting to come home here, how has those 4 years in New York changed your perspective on getting to come home and play for this club? It
was definitely a great experience that I had up there. I mean, being able to get in and play a lot of games and play with a bunch of different people and different styles, I think, is something that has really kind of helped me. And then part of it is learning how to help kind of manage players and stuff, especially kind of the later years of my college, being one of the older players on the team and trying to help manage young guys coming in and kind of learning the college game and all that. I think because I'm one of the older players here in North Texas as well, I've kind of tried to take responsibility and kind of helping to try and be a leader in that aspect and kind of help push us in the right direction and do the best I can in that way.
Knowing that this club is really where you got started and what has shaped you into the professional now that you are, as you think about what you want for your future in your career, what does that look like for you?
Well, championship this year, first and foremost, because why not? But I mean, just like any other player, I want to play at the highest level possible and just keep playing as best I can and developing as a player and see where I can go from there.
All right. Championship on the mind of Collodi. Thank you so much for the time.
Of course, thank you.
That does it for this Players Profile.
45 minutes down between New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire 2. Our score all knotted up at 2 apiece as we look back at the first 45 minutes of action between these two Eastern Conference foes. First 45 minutes did not disappoint, and the league's leading goal scorer, David Pareba, would get the visitors on top first. Kofi with a nice ball over to Pareba from long range, 23 yards out, slots it by Aiden Stokes for the opening goal of the game. That coming in the 16th minute, assisted by Kofi. 13 goals on the season right there for David Pareba. Kofi, though, gives the ball up as Strawada pokes it away to Mohamed Sofo, finds the feet of Tanner Rossborough, who makes it 5 straight games in a row with a goal. The 16-year-old converts in the 25th minute. Sofo with 6 assists now in the season. There you get the foul in the box against Sofo, so that sends Pareba up to the spot, and he converts. David Pareba with a brace in the game, scoring in the 32nd minute, but the home side would not be done. Another forced turnover by the Red Bulls, and this ball comes right to the feet of Hall. Hall gets it right by Patrick Lose. That goal coming in the 35th minute. Adi Mehmeti with the assist for the Red Bulls. The two 60-year-olds with the goals tonight for New York Red Bulls. David Pareba with both goals for the Fire. As we take a look at the stats from the first half of play, New York Red Bulls right up there in the top in terms of shots on the season in the league. They have 3 shots on target tonight. Meanwhile, Chicago Fire with 4 corners officially for the Red Bulls, 2 for Chicago Fire. Just the 1 yellow card handed out to Mohamed Sofo. Surprisingly, it was not on that foul in the box. It was later in the first half where he was booked. For New York Red Bulls, coming out into the second half, you have to think the game plan remains the same. Force the mistakes in Chicago's defensive third, take the ball away, and convert on the opportunities that you get. For Chicago Fire, they're going to want to control possession in their defensive third and work the ball up through the flanks and try to elude the pressure in those traps that New York can set defensively. Last time these two teams met earlier in the year, the score ended up 5-5. After 45 minutes, we are all tied up at 2 apiece. Fire on the second game of a 5-game road trip. Meanwhile, Red Bulls in the final game of the 3-game homestand. Only 2 wins at home on the season for New York, only 2 wins on the road for Chicago on the year. Just waiting for Gerald Flores to give us the go-ahead to begin the second half. And we are underway once again from MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey, here in match week 21. Red Bulls once again forcing that press early to begin the second half. And that's what they like to do. When the ball's back near the 18, that is when they will establish that high press. When it's up here more towards midfield, the attacking unit will lay off a little bit more. Here's Mehmeti, who has an assist in the game. Over to Sofo. Sofo also with an assist. Berkeley. He'll play back to midfield. Gutierrez with a couple good chances in the opening half off set pieces for a goal opportunity. Both chances missed wide. Sofo with the left. That ball was swerving, but swerving wide. Great opportunity here from Sofo to begin the second half. Sofo taking this himself. Had a good angle. A little bit of a slice to his shot attempt. High leg there. Chicago wanted a whistle, not going to get it. Here's Valencia. The 20-year-old out of Panama. Srawada out wide. See how quickly the Red Bulls like to move the ball as well from side to side. They do not want to keep it in one space for a long time. Board giveaway by Chicago. And right back from New York. A little sloppiness to begin the first half as well. Srawada up the middle. Chance here for Chicago to counter. Sofo. Valencia with a shot and stopped by Patrick Lose. Both keepers on the shots that they haven't been able to save, they've been rockets. On the other ones that they have stopped, have been right at them. Serrata playing to width, but Berkeley not on a run forward. Kasule trying to find Sofo, does Sofo, another missed shot, slice wide. Well, Sofo leads the team with shots on target, has 2 near ones here in the second half, not on frame though, but 2 excellent opportunities. Both times he wanted the near post, but unfortunately he's dragged it wide on both attempts. Chicago Fire right now having trouble settling into the second half. Kofi has Sudan ahead. I'm going to go inside Mehmeti there, though, for New York. Kasule over to Sofo in the circle. Valencia has numbers inside. Plays in an early ball. Finds Rossborough. Drops it back. Kasule! Kasule makes it 3-2 in favor of the home side. Beautiful drop ball by Rossborough right into the path of Ibrahim Kasule, who now has 6 goals on the season. How about this early ball in by Valencia? Chicago Fire unable to get to it to clear back. Rossborough with patience just waits for Kasule in an easy slot back post for last year's leading goal scorer on this squad. Kasule last season, 15 goals, best 11. Now has 6 goals on the year. That trails only Rold Mitchell, who has 8 goals on the season. Rold Mitchell, of course, has been out since the last time these two teams met back in April. Kasule with another opportunity, blocked aside. Pareba. Serrata tripped up by Pareba, and this will bring a free kick and a set piece opportunity once again to the Red Bulls. Juan Gutierrez leads the team in headers. He is always the main man to look out for on these set piece tries. Already has 1 headed attempt that he missed. The other one actually came off his foot in the box. The other target will be Aiden O'Connor. Aiden O'Connor right now in the middle of the screen. 4 players around the ball. Now everyone walks off other than Sofo. Sofo looking for Gutierrez. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Gutierrez, what he wanted to do, he wanted to play that ball over the mixer, but jumped too early, got too far underneath the ball. Idea once again is there, and a poor turnover. Here's Rossborough. Rossborough with a great chance once again. I think he was surprised that the ball found his feet. On that play, Christopher Kupp's going down, trying to play the ball with his head. I don't know why he was going down to his knees to play that ball. Maybe he lost his footing. That's one he just needs to stop with his feet. There was no reason for him to go down and try to head that ball away when it was just a couple inches off the ground. Learning moment right there for the 16-year-old in Christopher Kupp's. Pareba will drop it back. Pareba, one of the leaders on this team, one of the older players. I tell you, Andrew, talking about Pareba, about how he is one of those leaders, just an extremely hard worker. Player good on the ball, can attack the defense of the opponent. Very brave, never gives up, always gives his best effort. A great example to young players. He's got both goals in this game for Chicago Fire at the moment. Headed out by Nagel. Oh yeah, we'll play it out wide. Foul against Chicago. So chance here just past midfield. Actually a foul against New York. Pareba. All over the intended target, and Kofi. Kofi wanted that to his right. Stokes now will pick up the ball. Glasgow loses possession. Mehmeti. Serwada looking for Rossborough. Rossborough with room to work. This great ball played to space, allowing Rossborough get to the ball to play it off Kupp's. Sofo. Hall. Serwada for O'Connor. Kofi looking for Sudan. Sudan, an academy player that joined the team at the beginning of the year. Back to Kofi. Cuts it across, back post. Granda. Back to Peter Sudan, the youngster. Peter Sudan, another teenager, 17 years old. Joined the club at the beginning of the year. Worked hard to really earn his time, really pulled his weight to get minutes. Scored a couple of goals and took advantage of his opportunity. Exciting player with a lot of talent the Chicago Fire coaching staff talked about. Can score and provide on the final pass. Sule out wide. Valencia. Back to Sule. Serwada. Berkeley will go into Mehmeti. Sofo turns away. Rossborough blocked away. Kofi eludes one defender, and Gutierrez has O'Connor twisting and turning. O'Connor's going to win this battle. Valencia, who had the good early ball in on the third goal by Kasule. Rossborough with a little dummy ball to himself. Hard challenge by Cups to win the ball. Valencia push from behind, and this will be a foul. Warning for Granda. One yellow card in the game to Mohamed Sofo of New York. A chance here for Omar Valencia as Ibrahim Kasai tells him to play it back to midfield. Made a nice little turn right there to get by Pareba. Hall looking to dial up long distance, swerving. Well, the two 16-year-olds up front, and Julian Hall and Tanner Rossborough do not lack confidence. That is something you love to see, especially out of a young striker. Love to see it out of any striker in general. Take their chances when they get them. You want your striker to be a little bit selfish at times. Pressure here by Kasule. Back to Los. Again, another turnover nearly for Chicago. New York's press working so well tonight against the Fire. Talk about mistakes made by the players in the field for Chicago, but you look at a keeper like Patrick Los, this really challenges them to have to play with their feet and make a crisp pass. Poyet, too heavy of a touch. Granda with the shot. Slices right. Keeping Granda got a great look here. But sliced the ball away. Good opportunity, good look. Just didn't execute in the long run. Still a young squad here tonight for Chicago Fire. Not as young as last week's. Fielding the youngest team in club history. And you get the likes of Christian Kofi back, a 23-year-old, as well as Omari Glasgow. As this is slipped through for a goal for Chicago. Poyet evens things up in the 61st minute. Both teams, their issue is defending, and that is showed here once again. Nice little ball from Kofi, finding Holyet, goes right between the legs. Stokes going down to the ground, but couldn't make the save. Once again, our score is leveled up. It's been back and forth between these two sides. This is played up into the air by Los. A chance here now for the Red Bulls to respond. Sofo does! Sofo scores a minute after Holyet of Chicago, and Red Bulls regain the lead 4-3. Another turnover. Sofo able to win the ball back as he just goes right by two defenders, takes it off the feet of Nagel, slots it by Patrick Los. Mohamed Sofo with a goal and an assist in the game. He has 4 goals on the year and 6 assists now on the season. Only blemish for Sofo is his yellow card he received. Blink and you might miss this one. This portion of the match is brought to you by your Tri-State Audi dealers. Granda wanted Kofi. Kasule. Pareba turns away. Pareba with the braces. He's fouled from behind by Sofo. Glasgow. Hoyet. Want to go back to Glasgow. Serwada, he's going to be fouled. Kofi with 2 assists for Chicago tonight. Assist on the first goal by Pareba, and then the goal by Hoyet. And the 61st man, then Mohamed Sofo would respond for the Red Bulls a minute later. Gutierrez heads it away. Berkeley will send it past midfield. And now Malik Dembele will come onto the field for Ibrahim Sakaya. Off will go Mohamed Sofo. So Sofo will leave with a goal and an assist tonight. Also has a yellow card in the game. Solid game from Mohamed Sofo of the Red Bulls. Malik Dembele, another great passer for Ibrahim Sakaya, has 4 assists on the season. Dembele will get his first touch. Dembele, 20 years old, out of Ghana, has been with the club for 1 year. Mohamed Sofo, the player he replaced, 19 years old, also from Ghana. Few players as well from Uganda, including Ibrahim Kasule, who's on the field right now. Steven Serwada also has 5 caps for the national team of Uganda. Ball delivered in. Headed up by Dembele, but right at Patrick Lose. Richards made his debut last week in his 2nd straight start. Kofi out for 2 games with the first team for the Leagues Cup. But you can see what a difference he makes here for the second team. Here's Glasgow, who's also away for the Leagues Cup. Hoyet. Hall will find Ibrahim Kasule. He'll go direct. Step over into the area. Nice deflection. Pareba. Pressure from behind as it's poked away by Mehdi. Another turnover in the defensive third. Serwada. Dembele. Belly wanted Tanner Osborough. Too many times, though, Chicago Fire turning it over in their own end. Hey, look at those mistakes in the defensive third for Chicago Fire. Look at the reason why New York's up 4-3. Sirwada. Hall trying to give it back to Sirwada. A player down for the Red Bulls. Behind the play. Pareba out wide. Kofi. Kofi cuts it back to his left. Now to his right. Kofi. Poked away by Gutierrez. It should be a corner for Chicago. Although the reaction of Kofi hitting the post, you might think it's off Chicago. Training staff will come onto the field. So it will be a goal kick for the Red Bulls. New York looking for their third win at home on the season. Red Bulls right now on the outside looking in of the playoffs. They sit 9th in the standings. A win today, they'll move up to 7th. This Red Bulls team, they've struggled when conceding the first goal like they have tonight. Just one win and 7 losses in that time, trying to change that around to make it 2 wins. Both teams with an opportunity to get some water here with the injured player down. Next meeting between these two teams will be in September in Chicago. It'll be September 13th. Chicago Fire up next for them Saturday. They'll be on the road taking on Philadelphia Union. Philadelphia Union, after the loss to FC Cincinnati, now 2nd in the standings in the Eastern Conference. That game will kick at 4 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, for the Red Bulls, it's the Hudson River Derby as they will host New York City FC on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. 2 clean sheets on the season for the Red Bulls. One of those clean sheets coming against their rival, NYCFC. So Cruz Held will now come in for Chicago, and Granado will go out. Now Aiden Stokes will play this way. Both teams have made 1 sub. Malik Dembele on the other side for Mohamed Sofo. Cruz Held for Granda. We'll have a late sub here as Dylan Sullivan, who scored in the loss against Toronto, will jog onto the field. So Mehmeti will go off. He was the player that was down for New York. Mehmeti leaves with an assist in today's game. Valencia trying to shield away Cruz. Joe Flores has done a good job in the middle of the field tonight. Just a lone booking of the game to Mohamed Sofo. Sule. Sullivan out wide as it hits off the referee and Flores, so this will come back for the Red Bulls. Drop ball here to reset play. Valencia loses his balance, able to get up and then falls over again. Effort was there from Omar Valencia, just unable to keep his footing. Javier Casas just allowing the ball to go out past the end line because of it. Pressure once again. Casas wanted to play a long ball, but took his time, allowing Julian Hall to get on top of his foot to force that ball out of play. Chicago Fire, they need to be a little bit more crisp with their decision making here from their back line. I hear about teams talking about how defense starts first up front. Red Bulls showing case in point that reason tonight. Chicago claiming a handball on Aiden O'Connor. Looks like he was able to use his chest to knock the ball over to Aiden O'Connor, his goalkeeper. Rossborough, who scored in 5 straight, looking at his goal total. Dembele out wide. Valencia, another early ball in. Kasule from the top of the 18. Another good stop by Los as he was able to read that shot attempt perfectly. Kofi loses possession. Another action today. Tacoma Defiance getting a win over Minnesota United 2 by a score of 5-1. Crown Legacy in a shootout would take down Huntsville City. Town currently hosting Portland Timbers 2. That one scoreless as it nears the halfway mark. And later on, you have Ventura County taking on Real Monarchs. Action back on Friday. FC Cincinnati, team of the week in week 20. Now at the top of the table with their 1-0 win over Philadelphia Union 2. Ben Stitz with a lone goal in that game for FC Cincinnati. He has 6 goals now in the season. Meanwhile, NYCFC's 10-match unbeaten streak coming to an end with a 4-3 loss against Columbus. Columbus, they've now won 3 in a row. Columbus, of course, inaugural champions in MLS Next Pro. Last year they made it to the championship where they fell to Austin FC. Dynamo Dos also saw their 3-game winning streak come to an end yesterday in the 2-1 loss on the road to Colorado. Dynamo Dos will also get Xavier Valdez back, their goalkeeper, who's away with the Dominican Republic for the Olympics. So how about Jay Herman of Vancouver Whitecaps 2, become the first active MLS Next Pro player to start a match in the Olympics, doing so for New Zealand. Mentioned Omar Valencia being the first active MLS Next Pro player to sub on in Copa America and play in a game. He did that for Panama in the loss against Colombia. Valencia, another solid game this evening for the Red Bulls. Rossborough has Hall inside. Wants Kasule instead. Kasule. Chicago wanted a foul, didn't get it. And the Rebels ended up playing on. Last time these two teams met, in 5-5, we went to a shootout where the Rebels won. And now Red Bulls looking to hold on to this 4-3 lead. Kasule up the middle. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hospital for Special Surgery. Opportunity now. Once again lost on the play for Chicago. Bryce Richards had a chance. They'd like to take it a little bit further inside. Nice slip ball, and this blocked aside by New York. Peter Sudan getting on top of this ball for Chicago. Good ball in, finding Sudan. Berkeley going down to the ground. It might have been kicked away as well by Aiden Stokes. Corner here for Chicago. Will be Peter Sudan once again taking the corner. Fourth corner of the game for Chicago as we have pushing and shoving going on in the box. So both teams will get a little talking here. 10 minutes remains. Chicago dangerous on set pieces. David Breba with a brace on the game, still on the field. Ball whipped in. Sudan plays it back into the mixer. Valencia. For Sawada. Has Hall to his right. That's where he goes. And back is Cups. Kasule in the channel. Knocked off the ball by Krushold. Long throw into the area, flick back, but no in the 6-yard box for New York. Tanner Rossborough, the closest player. Stokes is going to come out. A little pressure from Preba, but not enough there as he plays this all the way in the stands to just allow his team to reset defensively. Preba, the man down behind the play. Damon Villanueva will come on for Joliet, who leaves with the goal. Joliet scored in the 61st minute for Chicago. First goal of the season for Joliet, the 16-year-old. Fromer now will come in as well for Chase Nagel. Frank Sebufu will also make his way on the field, replacing Ibrahim Kasule, who scored in the 50th minute.
position for your New York Red Bulls 2 in the entering the match, number 97 for a Sipufu.
Rossborough trying to track this ball down. Cup's able to beat him to it. Glasgow somehow keeps that in as he plays it to midfield. Dembele stabbed away. Now a chance for the Fire to counter. Kofi knocked off the ball, wanted a foul against O'Connor. He's going to get the call. That pass intercepted by Dembele. Has Hall up to his left, Rossborough to his right. Dembele wanted to take it himself. Four different goal scorers for New York tonight. Here's one of them in Julian Hall. Sebufu for Sullivan, who scored last week, runs out of room. Last year, this New York Red Bulls side finishing fourth in the standings with 51 points. They had 14 wins last year. Currently ninth in the standings, one spot out of a playoff position. A win, though, will move them to seventh place in the standings. A loss for Chicago, they'll remain in fourth. And we have another yellow card here given away to Frank Sebufu with the second yellow card of the game. Both cards going to New York. Bulls normally a team that likes to play quickly. They'll take their time here as the time winds down in the game. Rossborough. Grab there by Cups. Luckily he didn't get called for a foul. Very well could have been. A clear grab on the arm of Tanner Rossborough. Red Bulls now playing a little off instead of pressing like we would normally see with the 1-goal lead. Last thing they want to do is have a ball like this go over the top to try and take advantage of their back line. And now we'll have a foul against Sullivan. Glasgow knocked off the ball by Dembele, but able to maintain possession while he actually pushed Dembele away. He got the better of Dembele that time. Held. Goes inside. Scoop ball for Kofi. O'Connor there. Srawada. Valencia. Belly going up the middle. Serrata. Rossborough. Rossborough not on the same page as Julian Hall. A couple times we've seen those two players not on the same page tonight. Pareba out wide. Richards playing back inside for Kofi. Chicago Fire, what really did them in was turnovers in their defensive third. Even though this is a one-goal game, too many mistakes in their own end, the New York Red Bulls making them pay for it. Kofi with a push. Both teams will back away. Sebufu want to go up the belly, was wanting to connect with Tanner Rossborough, as we'll have 4 minutes of stoppage time added on. $17 goals have been scored in total between these two teams this season when they have played one another, and they'll see each other once again in September. They have yet to get a win against New York. 2 losses and 2 draws all time against the Red Bulls. Poor giveaway once again by Chicago. This one really unforced as well. Hall playing to himself. Hall with an opportunity. Knocked down by Los. Rossborough. Hall wanted a brace, nearly got it. Los up to the task to make the save. Valencia, back post ball, no one there for New York. Julian Hall, how about this? Getting by the defender on the play, and Promer. Nice shot, but right at Los. Big save by by Patrick Los. Otherwise, this game would be put away by New York with a 2-goal lead. Still an opportunity. Dembele, Rossborough. Fire looking for a hero as they give the ball right back to Juan Gutierrez. Center back will bring it all the way forward. Center back going length of the field nearly. Wins the corner. Frank Sebufu will take the corner as Mohamed Sofo is off the field. With the lead, the center back's back defending for New York. Normally they would be in the 18-yard box. New York just delaying a little bit more time. Another corner here for New York, and they'll look to get their third win now at home on the season with this 1-goal lead as they played short once again. Glasgow get around 2 defenders, Valencia the other one, and 2 players go down. Glasgow and Valencia will be handed the yellow. Kofi, he wanted to play quickly with the yellow card handed out to try and take advantage of numbers forward. Los to send this forward. All numbers up for Chicago. Los into the area. Great ball in by Los. That Fromer. It goes out of play for a goal kick. And for Aiden Stokes, he'll play the ball into the night as New York will have their 8th win of the season and move back into the playoffs as they move into 7th in the standings with the win over the Chicago Fire tonight. Well, Chicago Fire got the opening goal of the game in the 16th minute by David Pareba. He would finish with a brace. Rossborough in the 25th minute would score. Then Pareba would get his second goal in the 32nd minute. Hall would score in the 35th. Kasule would get things going in the 50th minute, and then you'd have Holiet in the 61st minute, and Sofo in the 62nd minute. Sofo with a goal and an assist. And tonight's man of the match is Mohamed Sofo of the New York Red Bulls. And our man of the match is presented to you by Adidas. Sofo with a game-winning goal here. A beautiful pass up to Tanner Rossborough. Rossborough has now scored in 5 straight games for the Red Bulls. Mehmeti, a nice little soft touch, gets it over to Rossborough. How about Sofo splitting the defenders and sliding it by Patrick Los for the game winner for the Red Bulls. Up next for New York, they will host NYCFC on Sunday in the Hudson River Derby at 7 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, for Chicago, on the road once again, taking on the second best team in the table. They'll head on the road to play Philadelphia on Saturday. That game will kick at 4 p.m. Eastern. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Josh Toll. Once again, our final score is New York 4, Chicago Fire 3. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Thank you and good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.